I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We welcome Zozi Moth. Hi.
Hey,
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. Can you please introduce yourself to everybody?
my name is Zozi. I'm a somewhat new PNG tuber. I am a cozy streamer, but also kind of, I think what they would call a cozy chaotic streamer.
Mm-hmm.
I do a mix of uh, games and content that's relaxing or meditative or even hypnotic.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the time, I just do silly stuff. It's a real mixed bag.
It's an interesting concept here, and something that I don't see a lot is um, the meditation part of it.
Yeah.
And is that something that you've always been into?
Um, to it during quarantine in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it was I was at home for most of it. And so I took that time to kind of because I was burned out from my job, and I took that time to decompress with like 1,000 hours in Animal Crossing. And when I was done with that, I got into meditation.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So once I was able to kind of, allow your brain to process things,
Right.
um, and when you're doing something creative, like building something in like Minecraft, for example,
Right.
your brain kind of switches into a different state of consciousness.
Mm.
You get out of fight or flight and into a
Yeah. Into a more comfortable zone. When we kind of settle in and kind of drive and let that take over, immerse yourself in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is actually that's or any kind of hobby where you just kind of get lost in something.
Mm-hmm.
My brother told me that he goes like I regardless of how, someone might feel about guns, but he goes target practicing and he just gets it's so relaxing to him because it takes all of his focus.
Yeah. 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 Or
And I'm super interested in that sort of thing.
yeah, something like me starting Stardew Valley all over again,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I'm.
Oh, that is a perfect dopamine loop.
Oh my gosh, I'm staying away from it as much as I can at the moment. I've got interviews to do, and I do have to go to my job eventually. Yes, I do have
Yep.
so many save files in that, but that
It's exactly.
but it's so relaxing to me, and
It is.
and
It is.
boy, we need that.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
it's when did you discover that you had an interest in that? Was it early on, or was it later in school, or what?
Well, I I began to be interested in games as an artistic medium way back in like, I don't know, 2009
Hmm.
when there wasn't really a lot there. Um, there was like Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, the stuff that Fumito Ueda was doing.
Yeah,
A lot of games are based on Eco.
yeah.
Um, there was like odd little games like Electroplankton, which is a lesser known game
Hmm.
on the Nintendo DS. But games like that are just everywhere now, which
Yeah,
is amazing. Which is, just being able to push the, games as an artistic medium and test them out in the same way that, like, for example, Papo EO is an indie game from like 2011 or 12,
uh-huh.
about a man who, or it's about a little boy, but it's biographical by the guy who founded the studio, Minority Media,
Oh, okay.
which is, I think it's defunct now, but it was a game about his alcoholic dad, and it was a metaphor
Mm.
for dealing with that. And it was this little boy running around with this giant monster, and he had to keep him placated with frogs. And it's when you do things based on with metaphors based on your experiences, you can work through them because the brain doesn't know the difference.
Right.
So if you can use video games in that way, I think there's so many opportunities, and it needs to be studied further.
Oh yeah, I think so too. And if it's not, if, it's probably not going to solve the problems. You're not going to if you have something you're obsessed with, and it's a task that needs to be done. It's not going to do the task for you, but
Yeah,
it'll take some of the extra angst and anxiety away, and you can look at it with a little more rational um,
yeah,
outlook.
yeah. I love the idea of video games being like if you've ever been to therapy or seen on a therapy on TV or something
Mm,
where you're meant to act it out.
right.
Like, okay, well, if your abusive so and so was in front of you right now, what would you say to them? What would you want to do? Um, and I forget the word for that. I'll think of it like at 1 a.m. this morning. But
I'll get a text all of a sudden. This is the word.
uh,
Bing.
yeah, yeah, it'll be too late. But when you can work something out in a safe place,
Yeah.
in that state of mind is incredibly healing.
Yes.
Um, and it can be something and that's very specific, but the more I learned about meditation and hypnosis, and just how our brain works and how consciousness works, the reason, if you get into painting or in my brother's case, target practicing or
Right.
building something in Minecraft,
Hmm.
or, people, do coloring because, adult coloring books. Because when you get to that place, your brain switches over from beta waves to alpha waves, and that is your place of healing.
Hmm.
That's when you're not just, binge watching 8 hours of Netflix to avoid your feelings anymore. It's subconsciously processing while you're doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that.
I used to do, and I've got a book sitting in the other room with it that I haven't got started yet, is crosswords. I would do
Yeah,
crosswords all the time with that. And that is just absolutely relaxing to me. And
yeah,
it just, I sit there and it's something I'm able to usually get close to finishing, and I can go from there. It's um, it's if I can get a surrounding atmosphere that's relaxing too, and
yeah,
not just
yeah,
having all the cats attack me at the same time. It's pretty it's enjoyable, and it is so relaxing. Um,
yeah,
Now I'm at the age where I get relaxed too much and I'm going to nod off, but it certainly does let you shake off the overwhelming emotions of the day, because they'll build up and build up and build up and build. Everybody knows that how a day will build up, but then you look forward
yeah,
to that time. Even just having the time to look forward to means something.
yeah, yeah. You get a sense of accomplishment when you're done.
Hmm.
And while you're doing it, there's a physical reaction too. It's things like stress and anxiety, which I struggle with anxiety a lot. Like it affects my ability to hold a job, which
Mm,
is why things like meditation have been so helpful for me
yes.
to build tools that I didn't have before.
Hmm. Oh
Um,
yeah.
but once you get into that state, your heart rate slows down, your breathing slows down, you breathe more deeply. You're getting more oxygen to your brain.
Hmm.
That's why if you're having a panic attack or if you're just anxious in general, people tell you to do breathing exercises.
Mm.
I remember my therapist told me to do that. Like he explained box breathing to me. It's like, okay, breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts. And I was like, I know how to breathe. That's boring, you know. But it is it's not a matter of willpower so much as it is a biological response, and you
Yeah.
can control that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's something that just happens. It's supposed to happen naturally. Now, if it doesn't work, then you really need to do some things about that.
Yeah.
It's you're going uh, beyond what can be done for yourself at that point. But it makes a huge difference if you can do that in
Yeah.
handling just the day to day stuff that goes on. Um,
Exactly.
keeps you from snapping out at other people,
Yeah.
which which I have done in the past. I will fully confess to that. Um,
Yeah.
it if you're in a relationship or anything like that, it helps you out quite a bit. This is off the topic. Well, maybe it isn't, but at work, I have a 1 hour break. I don't go
Mhm.
out to lunch or anything because I don't want to walk because it hurts. Um,
Yeah.
but there's a place where I go. I have headsets. I have a mix of five, I think, different background noises. And when I put that headset on, it's like being power washed inside your brain. It just
Yeah.
it just everything is gone. There's no outside interference whatsoever when I close my
Yeah.
eyes. And it just relaxes me so much. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. We have a physical response to sound.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I on the side, I do like the sound healing thing or the sound bath, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Or if you've ever seen them or heard of them, it's like big crystal quartz bowls,
Oh
and you
yes.
run a mallet around the top.
Oh.
Oh gosh, I the first time I went to one of those, it was at a festival and it was for free, so I sat down and I listened to it, and I had been doing meditation for a while, and a lot of times, especially when you first start out, it takes a while for your brain to calm down.
Mhm.
Like it takes a good 30 or 40 minutes of sitting there to actually get to a place of just calm and being in presence
Oh yeah.
and not having that inner monologue going on.
Oh
But
yeah.
I it got me there in like 5 minutes, and I was like, this is amazing. I want to do this for people because it's experiential learning
Yes.
of like, oh, this is what this is supposed to feel like.
Yeah. And it
So,
teaches you about yourself, how you
yeah,
work, and
yeah,
not only is it productive for you outside, it's productive inside as well. Because boy, you get a clearer view of what's going on, and you can settle down and let's see if I use if this term fits. I think it does. It takes the swelling away. Um,
huh,
like if
yeah,
if you ever twist a knee or an ankle and it swells up and you put some ice on it, this is like putting an ice on your brain.
yeah.
This the
That
swelling.
I've never heard anyone put it that way before, but
Yeah,
that's really great,
yeah,
actually. I like that.
yeah. It takes the swelling down, and then you can see what's really happening
Yes,
afterwards.
that's perfect.
Yeah,
Very nice. Good job.
you can have that. You can use that all you want. Uh,
Okay, thank you.
I'm not trademarking it whatsoever, but and I use the background noises for sleeping a lot.
Yeah.
I've had trouble with that for since was a teenager working overnight shifts, um, and then switched over back and forth between things.
Yeah.
When your sleep schedule doesn't exist, it helps quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
you've
It
got
it helps you wind down.
so you're studying this, is it all self-taught type of things, or did you take any courses for
I
it?
I studied meditation through meditation magazines.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, I don't know, certification, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Yeah.
It's a very eclectic, really broad study of meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, there's a lot that you can learn about meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it's like different ways that different cultures have approached it, you know, yeah, outside of one another. And
Right.
they put it all together in one big thing so that you have just, a lot of knowledge about, Japanese or Hindu or Buddhist types of meditations.
Mm-hmm. And
But nothing really compares to actually experiencing it.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Um,
And you can and
yeah,
it could be a religious type of thing. It could be a just a spiritual type of thing, or it could be just you and by yourself or with somebody else,
Yeah.
and doing it. It's not necessarily while it's personal, it doesn't mean it's not social as well. Um,
Yeah.
it's a it's such a wide topic too. It's like you mentioned, so many different things can set off different things in how you relax. Um,
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
it's such a fascinating topic, and one of the reasons I really wanted to have you on here because I like I like talking about this, and I think
Yeah.
if you're doing a great job with it. Um, it uh, it's good to see somebody who has such an interest in that being able to spread that out to an audience. And you said that's kind of what you were looking for when you started VTubing.
I started VTubing last November,
Mm-hmm.
so it's been a few months.
Yeah. And
Um, I initially started it as co-working to help me focus.
mm-hmm.
But it ended up being super interesting, and it did had the opposite effect because there's so many fun things to learn.
Yeah.
And as a creative medium, like see what I can do on the technical side in OBS
Mm-hmm.
to make a funny thing to make my community laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. It it
Um,
it's such a wide
so yeah,
reaching
it ended
audience.
up just becoming just a hobby in a creative way.
Mm-hmm.
But the second reason was really to find my voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I've explained it to my community once or twice. I've been taking care of my dad for the past 2 years. He's got dementia,
Yes.
and no one ever tells you how rough that is. Like you can't. It's hard to explain to people because it's it's rough.
Right. It is.
And I got to a place where I couldn't continue working. I worked from home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because he would be like upset, like all day long because of what he's going through and his inability to process that
Right.
and inability to understand, why I was telling him he could or couldn't do something.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to do what he wanted to do.
Right.
Um, and during that time, like you never know if they're going to forget who you are and think you're, um, a burglar.
Right.
So I'd have to put like the knives and the scissors and stuff up so that we would both be safer.
Right. It
And
is.
just to kind of give you a tiny glimpse there. And so for the past 2 years, I had to just not be a person. Everything I did existed for him.
Right.
And so, uh, aside from co-working, a main part of why I started to VTube was just to find my voice, just to express myself. Be like, oh, there's a person down there that I forgot about.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You do kind of you do when you're doing something as selfless as what you're doing, taking care of a family member like that. Sometimes if you're selfless for a long time, the self part fades in
it
the
becomes
distance.
literal.
Yeah.
It's literal. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It does, and this is so this really does open up a chance for you to not just be yourself, but with the avatar of you can be yourself and people not even know what you look like. I mean,
Yeah,
you get to really be yourself on there. You get to be a little
yeah,
bit,
exactly.
yeah. The inhibitions kind of
I
leave a little bit.
Yeah, it is nice. Initially thought about just doing a face cam,
Hmm.
but the more I didn't stream. I just followed other streamers, both VTubers and face cam.
Hmm.
I can't bring myself to say flesh tubers. I know it's funny, but
I know
it's
what
weird.
it's just icky.
It is, it's
Yeah. I see him like, oh no, that's not what I'm talking about. No.
icky. Exactly. Um, that threw me off. Anyways,
Sorry. I'm good at
yeah.
that.
I have one train track. I'm good at running off it. So there we are. Um, but yeah, I watched people and I just kind of sat back and followed people on Blue Sky and followed a bunch of people on Twitch and just soaked all the info in and learned.
Mm.
Um, I started to get a PNG tuber. Like I bought a little cheap one off Etsy, and I
Right.
got it, and I was like, I could have done this. So I work as a graphic designer,
Yeah.
and I do more designing than I do illustration.
Mm.
So I just like forgot, like, oh, I can draw.
Yeah.
So I drew my little moth character, and there I was. I realized, like, oh my gosh, I can just be a cartoon character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, everyone considered at first I was like, well, I could be a hot anime character. Everybody
Yeah.
likes that.
Yeah.
But but when it like I understand that,
Right. Yeah.
and there are tons of them like that's just rigged really nicely, and I'm like, I just like watching this. Look at it go. Um, it's just really nice art and
Yeah.
really, really nice rigging.
Right.
Um, but the idea of just being cartoony, like a toon tuber,
Yeah.
um, is so much more fun. To me.
Yeah.
Like I am purposely trying not to be hot, but there's always people. But I want to be as cartoony as I can.
Right. Right. Well, that way you're welcoming to everybody, and it's not
Yeah.
it doesn't literally have your audience right away. It's that
Yeah,
and the potential audience is so huge.
it
Um,
is.
and I hope that VTubers remember that there isn't like a pie to carve up as far as audience is concerned. So you don't have to compete against each other. The
Yeah, exactly.
It's always expanding. It's a globe, not a pie. Um,
Yes.
yeah, there's and once it comes, I would think that if somebody who doesn't know much about VTubing and just getting into it, they come across your channel and they're seeing something a little different than yeah, the folks they get in, they learn about the meditation part and that type of thing. That's
Yeah,
that's really going to hook them in. Uh, there's a
exactly.
lot of people need that, whether they know it or not.
I
And
agree. The thing for me regarding teaching meditation is that a lot of times only a certain type of person gets into meditation.
hmm
And we associate it with, $3,000 meditation retreats. And it's such a simple, free thing that just it's like it doesn't feel super accessible to
right.
people, even though it is.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's just the associations with it.
Well,
Um,
it's a and don't take offense to this because I'm not meaning it that way, but kind of
yeah,
normalizing it
yeah,
is
exactly.
yeah. It's people kind of tend to like, oh, you're going sitting in a room, that type of stuff. Oh, there's all sorts of
Yeah.
different ways to do this. Um,
Yeah, people are scared of the spiritual aspects of it.
mhm,
And I'm in the Bible Belt. I understand. I
mhm,
understand all of it.
yeah. I
Um
mean, there's
but
ways to do it in a religious manner too. There's just all sorts of different ways to do this.
yeah, yeah. Meditation. I mean there's even a Bible verse that says meditate on these words,
Oh yeah.
It's literally just a state of mind.
hmm
Um you're not contacting anybody. You're just bringing it's a very, very natural state. That's why I got into hypnosis
Mm. Now that's something.
as well.
That's something. Are you able to hypnotize others, or are you into having yourself hypnotized?
Um, I I can hypnotize others. I'm
Mm.
certified through the National Guild of Hypnotists.
Wow. Yeah. I
Uh,
That's something I've never had it done to me. I
it's fun.
mm, it's
Or
scary to
it
me
can
though.
be.
Yeah.
It's yeah, a lot of people are scared of it, and I
Yeah.
think that's another thing. It's so very similar to meditation.
hmm
It's such a natural thing, and people don't realize it. Like if you're driving down a road that you know well
hmm
and you don't have to think about it, have you ever just kind of clocked out and got lost in your head and driven for like 10 miles and been like,
uh.
how did I get here?
Oh. Well, how did you know that?
That's because everybody does. That's called highway hypnosis.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're consciousness, your subconscious was driving, and your conscious focus was in your head on whatever you were thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a really normal state. Everybody does that
Yeah.
in different ways,
Yeah.
and that's really all it is.
Sometimes we do it more than once. Sometimes we do it several times, and
Yeah, I've lost count. It's fine.
that's when my wife nudges me like you missed the exit. Like, I really meant to
Yes,
go to this exit
exactly.
over here.
Hmm.
Figure out a reason to be there, like cats. I did that on purpose. uh,
Yes, exactly.
yeah, and that it's kind of a daydreaming sort of thing. And
Yeah.
folks have done that. I'm sure everybody has done it. Whether you've sat there and you've been doing a topic or you're work even at work, and suddenly your mind goes off somewhere, and then you snap out of it, and things are exploding around you. uh,
Yeah.
that type. Oh,
Yeah.
I have to tell this because
Okay.
this is. I worked in radio for a long, long time, and
Hmm.
there was one time where I'm working a double shift, uh, and the, and there was a music segment which I at that time hated to do, and I turned on the microphone and zoned off into a sleep while I was
Oh
there,
no.
and woke up a few minutes later. I think I don't know how long it was, and the microphone was on. I'm in
Oh
the
no.
station by myself. I'm like, and I said the call sign and hit the next one. Like, here we go. I don't know what happened. I'm just going to ignore it and hope nobody calls. But
Oh dear.
yeah, but I mean, that would have been obvious for everybody to know. But people, take little meditations all the time and don't even know it.
Yeah. Um, I apologize for Sunny.
Oh, no, no worries.
I
Always,
She's a corgi, and corgis just bark. They're the barkingest dogs I
oh,
ever
a
done seen.
friend of mine had a corgi, and I would play with Panda. That was the name of the corgi all the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and run. They're fun to play with. Um,
They are.
yeah, and yeah, sometimes people use pets to help them cope um,
Yeah.
with things, and you get the right
Yeah,
one, they'll meditate with you.
yes, yeah. Cats especially. But no,
Yeah.
the tactile sensation and focus and repetition of petting an animal
Hmm.
that is themselves calm. You end up kind of mirroring them because
Mm.
they're just chilling, you
Yep.
know.
Yep. Absolutely.
Or playing in a playful childlike, let's get the ball kind of way.
Yeah.
And getting to that state of play is also very, very similar.
Mm.
Which
Yeah.
is why we love dogs.
One of the things about when you're into a subject and you're talking about it is believability, and you have that in aces here because it's very obvious that you enjoy this and
Oh yeah.
you really want to impart that onto others, and help them get through their
Yeah.
uptightness
Uh
and fears and stresses of every day. Um,
yeah.
it, it, it,
I
it,
really
it really
go ahead.
is empathetic in a way.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
always been that type of person?
I would say so.
Yeah,
Yes. A little more so as the older I get,
mm,
That's natural, I guess.
yeah,
I want to meet people where they are.
yeah,
There are so many video gamers that people that turn to video games for stress relief.
hmm,
Um, and there's all this stuff about, games being violent and this and that. I think there's some relief in working out aggression,
hmm, right,
instead of like on your boss or your partner,
right,
you know.
yes,
Um, yeah, and kind of getting lost in that, processing emotions,
hmm,
can be helpful. And of course, people can have addictive personalities and can get addicted to anything.
right, right, right.
But
Your mileage may
I,
vary.
yeah, exactly, exactly. humanity is always a mixed, multifaceted bag.
Yeah, big stupid
Um,
humanity.
big stupid humanity. Uh, but that so are we.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah. And
but bringing something like this, meeting people where they are, you can't really. If you just say, I'm a meditation teacher, I'm a guru, come
yeah,
buy my course,
right.
you're only going to get certain people, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. People who are
And
looking for it. Yeah,
as a business model, that's fine. But as far as just like you said, and just sharing something with people that need it,
yeah.
uh, I, you know, I the like I think where it started, I met there's a neighbor I had um who had lost her kids because she was on drugs
Hmm.
and she was struggling and she was working at a fast food place and I was like, this person, I want to teach meditation for this person,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. They need someplace too to
Yeah,
and
yeah, but it's associated with Eastern religions or it's associated with higher classes.
yeah,
Um, especially and it might be, commonplace on, like in California, but not in Tennessee,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
and
people are suspicious of it.
some people use that as an excuse to do things that harm themselves physically or
Yeah,
mentally, like excess drinking, excess or in that woman's case, drug use. Um,
yeah,
and and to give them an alternative that might help is something good.
yeah,
But a lot of people could do this very selfishly and just take care of themselves. You are not doing that. You are trying to help other people. That shows that you have a big heart and want to share this with everybody. Um,
yes, it's very much about sharing.
yeah, you're good. You're good yourself, but everybody you want everybody to share in it, which says a lot
Yeah.
about you actually. A lot of good things.
Oh, thank you.
And I want to ask this: when you're on streaming and you get into the games, what games are you using? Are you playing games for enjoyment, or are you playing games to help people um, in like a meditative state, or how do you choose your games to play online?
It's it's a mix
Well,
because I mean I'm streaming for myself.
right,
Firstly,
yeah,
because I need it as an outlet.
yeah,
It's good for me.
yeah,
After these past 2 years.
mm,
And it's fun.
yeah,
I've made some amazing friends within the past 4 months, like more than like it's just been such an experience compared to any other community ever. Like
right,
like we are best friends, you know.
yes,
Um, we're the gang's all here,
yeah,
every night with somebody.
right,
Uh, which is super great for me. But in terms of what I choose, um, I did initially start to be like, oh, I'm gonna do just meditation. I'm gonna be, this I'm gonna speak with my hypnosis voice.
yes,
We're
oh,
gonna breathe in, we're gonna breathe out. We're gonna do lo-fi music. We're gonna do meditation. We're gonna have little swirling psychedelic mandalas behind my PNG tuber, and I do that.
yeah,
But I have also, through the people that I've met, just come alive.
mm, yes,
In terms of just being a person, I can't do the guru thing.
right,
This has ended up being kind of like when I go to a convention or Comic Con or Ren Fair,
right.
I'm an INFP. If you're familiar with that, I'm a quiet little person. It takes a bit for me to be my little rat bastard self, right? But but the
I
P
like that.
it takes a while to get an INFP to be there. And
I
And
my friends and I used to call ourselves that all the time.
yes, but the people that I've met, there's another INFP who is just straight up that just all the time, and
Mhm.
she just brought me out of my shell.
Oh, good.
So I have just come alive and brightened up to, so it's a mix of me doing games that are either cozy or repetitive
Mhm.
or hypnotic, like people work to do to create flow in
Right.
their games.
Right.
So I'll choose games that have that in spades.
Mhm.
Like the other day I did Sayonara Wild Hearts. Rhythm games are a great example of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um but yeah, just hanging meeting new people has just been like, you know what? It's okay for me to be, I'm a cartoon moth. Who
Mhm.
cares? And so I have, and it's been amazing. So it's a real mix. Sometimes I will do something cozy and lo-fi, and I'm trying really hard to just make people fall asleep.
Well.
And then another day I'll do like thank goodness you're here,
Yeah.
and like I'm doing Jesus Christ Simulator for Easter this month.
Oh. Oh wow.
So
I have
it's
to.
it's just it's a mix, a
Yeah.
big like one or the other.
It really does sound like this has been a liberating experience for you.
Yes, it has.
It,
Absolutely.
and that's wonderful for not just you, but for us, because we get to
Yeah,
see what a wonderful person you actually are, and we get to have the fruits of that as well. And one of the reasons why I really enjoy doing these interviews is that we are learning and gaining experience and gaining the um, the benefits of folks who we normally would not hear from.
yeah,
If it weren't for this medium, you wouldn't be able to do the things you're doing right now. Um,
yeah.
which means that there's we have so much that we can learn from this, and I hope we take that to heart. Um,
Yeah.
and I am over the moon that I've been able to talk with you here about this, and I will hope that you come back again and we talk more um,
I'd love that.
about you and what you're doing. I think it's a giant positive for everybody. Um, Folks, we're going to have all the links we've been able to find in the description for this interview. And, if you're interested in the meditative topic, check it out. If you're not interested, still check it out because we've been talking with a wonderful person here for the last few minutes and somebody that you need to get to know and see what they're all about. This is good stuff. Um,
I want to get to know you too, dear viewer.
yeah.
I come to my stream and I will hypnotize you. I don't think that I sent a message to Twitch concerning TOS
Yeah.
with hypnosis. I was like, no, if I can actually do hypnosis, it's got to be a consensual thing.
Yeah.
And they just gave me the runaround there, like, please read our terms of service,
Yes.
and if you do hypnosis and we decide that it's wrong, we're gonna get you.
Yeah.
But they didn't say ahead of time.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. They gave me the runaround. They didn't know the answer, I don't think,
they,
and
they
that's what they sent back.
they toss you off the cliff and says and see if you fly, that's perfectly fine. If not, well, that's just
Yeah,
it's gonna be a little bit rough.
yeah. Honestly, it's that state of consciousness is semantics. The news uses that against you.
Yeah.
Marketing uses it
Oh
on you.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
My
Absolutely.
my former industry and radio uses it against you.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I know I have.
Religion does.
Yeah,
So
everything.
many.
So many things do, but not you. And folks need to find out about Zozi and what's going on here. Thank you so much for coming on. It's gone too fast.
It has.
And I do want to speak with you again real soon. Uh,
I would love that. Thank you for having me.
yeah, folks, check out all the links in the description. And Zozi, thank you so much.
Thank you. See you around.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.